Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey everyone, it is Thursday. It is Thursday, January the 12th, 2023. As y'all know, I am your host, Gail Dudley of News in Motion. I'm just so excited to see all of you with me on this morning. I see you, Deborah Johnson. I see you, Camille Jones. I see you, Lori Wallace. I see you, Marion Jackson. I see you, Adrian, coming in from YouTube. Let's see, Jacqueline is also on here. So good morning to you as well. Y'all, again, we have a lot of news. This must just be a news week or news month, and we'll get to as much as we possibly can. And I'm also going to be bringing you the information on the Senate, as I promised you on yesterday. I see the hearts going up, so thank you. Keep letting those come up there, y'all. That helps with the algorithm. Hit the heart, the thumbs up, whatever. I see my brother coming in here, Louis Fryer the third. So, y'all, just good morning to all of you. Anyone who's tuning in on audio, or if you're tuning in on podcast, we want to say good morning to you as well. I see you, Tracy Burrs, coming in here. I see you, Latrice Jones, coming in here as well. It's a great day to be alive. Let me say it that way. Um, it was so interesting. All morning I had in my spirit, and y'all can follow me if you don't mind. So I may go a little off today. But I woke up this morning and I just kept thinking to myself and started singing a song. And y'all know I can't sing a lick. I see you, Rosanna. That song that's just in my spirit. God is a good God. Yes, He is. God is a good God. Yes, He is. That has been in my spirit all morning. I see you, Pastor Alex, coming in here. I see you, Juanita, coming in here as well. But yeah, that song just stayed in my spirit. And I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? And I think God is sending me a message. I see you, Jeff Payne. Good morning to you. I think God is sending me a message. And it's so interesting that I'm sharing it with all of you because I think God is sending all of us a message with all the chaos that's going on all around us. We have the California floods. I think there's now 18 who have died in those storms and floods in California. And I mean, y'all, houses, fire departments. I mean, they're just going underwater. Trees are just falling over. Over 10,000 flights either canceled or delayed, and they're still trying to get caught up with all of that. I see you, Regina. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. I think God is sending a message this morning through that song. And I mean, I woke up with it. You know, God is a good God. Yes, He is. God is a good God. Yes, He is. I mean, seriously, it's like in me. And I said, God is reminding me. And I believe He wants me to remind all of you that He's a good God and He's not going anywhere. I see you, Stephanie Burbridge. Hi, I see you, Robert Holmes. So I just wanted to get that out. So let me go to the California storms. At least 18 people have died in the storms. More than half of California's 58 counties were declared disaster areas, and repairing the damage may cost more than $1 billion, according to Brian Ferguson, spokesperson for the State Office of Emergency Services. So, y'all, that is there. And when I get to the inspirational message today, it's all about prayer, and they're on our list of prayer. I see you, Fred Jones. Good morning. Y'all, believe it or not, more documents were found at a second location. Um, Aides to President Joe Biden have discovered at least one additional batch of classified documents in a location separate from the Washington office he used after leaving the Obama administration. So since November, after the first discovery, and again, y'all, that was November the 2nd, the documents have with classified markings in the former office, they have been searching. So again, I still have questions. So I did my diagram like I did yesterday. And I said, okay, so where was the second batch found? How, were they in the same building? They're not in the same office and they're a different location. Why are they out searching for them? What is really going on here? Is there a tip that's happening? Did somebody hear something? Is someone planting something? This is just really bizarre to me. And again, not conspiracy theory. These are the questions that I have. And you can kind of tell when somebody's lying. And for whatever reason, when they asked President Biden a question when he was going to Air Force One or to the helicopter or whatever, I mean, he really looked surprised, like, what? Like, come on. So it's just very interesting. Yes, Kim Edmondson, what's really going on? This is very, very interesting. and even the fallout as to when it's happening. Now, y'all, in full disclosure, in my research and what I'm finding out, people are trying to compare the two. Well, one, the former guy took them to his home. And even after the National Archives was like, where are these documents? He would not give them up. And they gave him months to try to get those documents. So then there was the raid. On the other hand, you have President Biden, where his attorneys was doing whatever to the office um, in Pennsylvania, where they were going through labeling things and they came across these classified documents. Now, the other thing is the former guy had top secret. Okay, he had some serious stuff. So that's why I'm even asking. So what are these documents? What are inside these documents? How serious is it? What level of classified? Classified is classified. Now, the other part of it that's really interesting that I'm reading into all of this is that the former guy, he can have classified documents. Now, he was no longer president, so he shouldn't have them. The vice president doesn't really walk around classified documents. Now, he may see them in the war room, if you will, the strategic room, if you will, that type of space. So it's all really bizarre. So it's going to be interesting to see all this unfold, but he really shouldn't have them. So let's just say that. I see you, George, coming in here. All right, now this didn't take long. So this is why I'm asking some of the questions that I'm asking as I'm pulling this together. And I really don't have many answers for you at this point. But y'all, the House Republicans has launched a probe into President Joe Biden and his family's finances. I mean, come on, y'all. Just this time last week, you were on day 3 of selecting a speaker, and now you already are into a probe. And I want to back up to something yesterday. When I dug more into, I think it was Mike Turner. I may have his name wrong. It may be the other Republican. And I'll actually look for it in a moment. But I was going back through my notes. So how did you have a letter already ready to send asking about the documents? And how was the letter dated before Monday? That's another question, just another question. So when you're doing investigative work that way, you're looking at everything. You cannot leave a stone unturned. That's why sometimes when I'm hearing, not judging, but when I'm hearing some other hosts and reporters and journalists coming out with this information, I said, can you just wait a little bit longer? A lot of them want to put it out there first. And it's like, no, do your due diligence and look at the information before you turn that over. So they're looking into his family finances. House Republicans have asked the Treasury Department Wednesday to turn over documents related to the business ventures of President Joe Biden's family members. Really? Did y'all look at the business of the former guy's family? I mean, come on, seriously? And see, y'all, these are the double standards that we're dealing with now, even with the classified documents. Yep, I think they need to go to the DOJ. They need to go to the National Archives. There needs to be an investigation. Absolutely. But how are y'all going to do this? I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this today on News in Motion. I will not be surprised if they do not put up for President Biden to be impeached. I'm just putting that out there. So they're going through their family finances. They're asking for suspicious activity reports. How do you know there's suspicious activity reports? They sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, House Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer, Republican of Kentucky. He wrote in his panel that they are investigating President Joe Biden's involvement in his family business practices. Are we serious right now? The former guy's family business practices. What is happening? What is happening? But then I love me some minority leader Hakeem Jeffries. He isn't having it. He said, and he put this on Twitter, he put it out there for everybody to read. He said, extreme MAGA Republicans have established a select committee on insurrection protection. And then he says, we will fight this tooth and nail. So that select committee that they're coming in, good morning, Isaiah, that select committee that they're putting together, they have now included insurrection protection. Why? Are you going to have another insurrection? Can you talk to me? Tell me what's going on. And I believe, and I'm grateful that we have this minority leader in place. Now he's gonna give you some alliteration and he's gonna break it down for you when he's speaking. And they probably can't follow half of what he's saying anyway, because they don't have really any idea that he's also preaching and he's giving a sermon when he's delivering his message on the floor. And if y'all did not see that yesterday, Google it, go to C-SPAN. He broke it down. He gave them everything he thought, and he let them know the tactics they are using and how they're using them. Now, some people would say, "Oh, you're showing too much of your hand." No, he's saying, "I want them to know my hand. I want them to know how I'm coming for them." So then you also have some of the 90% of the Republicans. Y'all just follow me, please. Y'all can see I'm so excited about this. Then you have some of the 90% of the Republicans who was supporting Kevin McCarthy through all those 15 votes, that they're starting to pull back a little bit. It's like, see, you voted too quick. You need to know what's going on. I don't know if y'all saw the meme. This is horrible. I don't know if y'all saw the meme yesterday of a picture of Kevin McCarthy dancing. And the meme was like, "This is McCarthy in 6 months. Like, he's gonna get fired and he'll be on Dancing with the Stars." So there's that. That's happening as well. Good morning, Mike Nicholson. So y'all, a lot is unfolding here. So they were saying, so he called them out. Minority leader called him out and said the actual committee is, of the select subcommittee is the weaponization of federal government, chaired by Representative Jim Jordan. Those of us in Ohio know what kind of man he is. And it was passed 221 to 211 with all Democrats opposed of that measure. And then he pulled it out. He said, he says, look online. Remember, I told y'all, I think it was Tuesday, that the House only now, but part of the negotiation, they only had 72 hours to read a bill, to read a measure. Hakeem Jeffries came out and said on page, I can't remember the page now, line number 4 words over, this is insurrection protection. I said, boom, there you go. That's how you do it. So his team, his aides, because he's not reading all of it by himself, they are phenomenal. So we need to give them a shout because they were able to find that loophole and that information. So y'all, even with that, I'm going to get to the Senate in a moment. Let's talk about Georgie boy. Georgie boy, you need to go take a seat. Y'all, the Washington Post reports that Representative George Santos is urged by the New York County Republicans to resign immediately after fabricating parts of his biography. They go on to talk about how they have filed complaints with the Federal Election Commission and the House Ethics Committee. Then all of a sudden, man, you gotta love social media. People, Black Twitter, and I know Elon Musk is there now, but Black Twitter is still on their game. They went searching for relationship between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and George Santos. Goes back to 2020. Yes, it does. I was like, what? So of course I jump in, not on Twitter, but I'm looking up the information, pictures, fundraising gatherings, parties, barbecues with beer bottles in their hand. I'm like, is this really happening? So there's a relationship. So that now explains why Kevin McCarthy is not calling for an immediate resignation of George Santos. But don't worry, because more breaking news from the Washington Post. Can y'all tell I love this? George Santos was paid in 2021 for work at a company accused of a Ponzi scheme. He did not disclose the income as a candidate. Hello, Black Twitter again. Black Twitter's coming for you. So the best thing you can do is just give. You just need to surrender, come out with your hands up and say, I'm guilty, because they're coming for you. They also were not able to gerrymander that district. So here's the other part of it. If he comes out, the Republicans know that this will more than likely go to a Democrat because they were not able to gerrymander that piece. The reason people believe he got in was because he's young. He said he was Jewish. He said he did all these great things, that he negotiated with Goldman Sachs, and his mom's an immigrant, and all of these things, which now no one knows. What's the truth in all of that? Let me see what some of you are saying. I see you, Karen. Tracy says they are doing everything they can to make sure he doesn't run for president again. Robert, you must be talking about Biden. Robert said, they said they were going to impeach, now trying to set it up. I agree with you, Robert Holman. Kim Edmondson says Dancing with the Stars. That meme is hilarious. Jacqueline says he straight up lied. That's his boy. Adrian in YouTube says, I don't think that's his real name. Well, remember, on the floor during two different times of the vote, when they were voting for speaker, they kept calling his name. And the lady who was recording was like, you could see her. She was like, is that even his name? So no one knows. Mike Nicholson said, who thought Santos was Jewish? A lot of people. That's what he said on his Vita, on his resume. So y'all, so much is going on. So much is going on. If you had an opportunity to look at either my Instagram or my Facebook, my personal page yesterday, a memory came up. So if y'all wonder why I'm so passionate about this, I had an opportunity 8 years ago, and it came up, and I remember it. And we're still, me and the two, the producer and the photographer, the camera person, we are still friends today. They sometimes tune in. I don't really talk about it much, but I had an opportunity, thanks to Lori Elmore. I got to give shout out to Lori Elmore. They asked me if they could interview me when it comes to my investigation and research when President Obama was running for it, before he ran for a second term. And I was like, me? Yeah. So we did an amazing interview with PBS, the new PBS News Hour. At that point, Gwen Eiffel was still alive, and she was the one who we were doing the dialogue with. And even then, they were like, you're a natural for this. You check off every box. What are you doing with this? How can we help you? They were giving me press passes way back then to get into things. And this is what has come of it so far. And I believe God is even going to reveal more in the next, Latrice, I don't know if you're still on here, but I keep hearing and I keep seeing Isaac singing the song, Your Miracle is on the Way. And I shared this with all of you, I believe it was last week. Those of us who tune into News in Motion, the viewers, we're going to be those who's delivering miracles to other people. I still feel that in my spirit everywhere I go. So y'all, this is why I'm passionate about all of this. And I'm also passionate because I want you to have this information. There's so often we see the loops, we see the spins on news day in and day off that we turn it off. We're like, oh my gosh, I just heard that the last 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, they're still talking about this 2 hours later. That I'm looking for, what do I need to bring? So what has even happened? And this, I would say, is a miracle. Last night, I'm on the computer and I see this thing pop up from the Library of Congress. I'm like, oh gosh, what did I do? And I open it up and they were like, you now have access because of your reporting and because of your fact checking. You now have access. Y'all have access to all kinds of things through the Library of Congress, the U.S. Senate, the House of Representatives. I mean, there were some things I was like, I don't know if I want that. But y'all, we now have access. Y'all, we're almost 3 years old. And so I also want to share with you, consistency is key. You have to stay consistent with what it is that you're doing. Never veer off. We try to do some lifestyle stuff. We try to do some other things, and we still try to weave those in every now and then. But y'all, this is where we are, because I want you to have this information. Y'all, I now have access to be able to share with you job openings that are out there in the government, share with you the different PACs. Y'all, this stuff was coming through. I was like, whoa, I'm so glad it's all in the News in Motion email, because I need to now separate the emails. So many emails came in from about 7 p.m. Eastern time to 7 a.m. Eastern time this morning that there are too many. So even then I was like, okay, God, you've allowed us this access. Now, Lord, you got to send people, because there's no way I can read all this stuff. There's absolutely no way. But in order for me to allow other people to read these things, we now have to vet people. We have to do background checks on people so that they can have access to it. So I want you all to pray with me that we find the right people and we have the resources to do it, so that we can continuously bring you what we believe this community needs. Y'all, with everything that's happening right now, believe you me, we need to know what is going on. Latrice Jones says, I bet you won't think about it. Many miracles, many miracles, many miracles. All right, y'all, the U.S. Senate. Let me tell you what's going on there. As promised, let me open this up. Y'all, there's been some things going on there since January the 3rd that I want to share with you. Some of them I can't. So if I pause, it means it says, can I share? So let me go through. This is legislative business that has been happening. Resolution number 1, Senator Schumer has all 9 resolutions are all on the floor by Senator Chuck Schumer. The first one is a resolution establishing a committee to inform the President of the United States that a quorum of each house is assembled. And then he submitted that information. So they had to go through and establish a resolution establishing a committee to inform the President of the United States. Now, some people have asked the question. I want to share this with you. Who has more power, the president or the Senate? Actually, it's the Senate. The president has executive privilege and executive power, but the Senate can come back behind them. So y'all remember that. Now, the House, people ask who has more power, the Senate or the House? Well, the House has to send their bills through the Senate, and then the Senate signs off or sends them back to the House, and then it's the House that takes them to the President of the United States. So be mindful, and sometimes that goes back and forth, but a lot that's happening right now in the Senate is creating a deadlock or gridlock for the House because of what the House is setting up, and I call it the House of Cards at this moment, what they're trying to set up. So Resolution 2, this feeds into that. Resolution 2, again, these are all Chuck Schumer, a resolution informing the House of Representatives that a quorum of the Senate is assembled, which they're communicating with them. We have now assembled this, which means you just can't do what you do. So there's a quorum here that we're going to have to work together. Yes, Adrian, play chess, Chuck. He set all this up, y'all. So Resolution 3, a resolution to elect, and y'all remember I shared this last week, Patty Murray, a senator from the state of Washington, to be the president pro tem. It's actually pro tempore of the Senate of the United States. Now, that was there just for a moment. That's how it first started, but they decided to keep it for these 2 years because they don't know if the House is stable. It's not. Then we have resolution number 4, a resolution notifying the President of the United States of the election of the president tempore, which means she can now have some access. She'll have a higher level of clearance of information that will come from the president. She will have that access before Chuck Schumer. So y'all, you have to understand. So it goes back to know who you're voting for and why, y'all. This should not be a popularity contest. Seriously. And I want y'all to put this in the chat. And if you're in audio, don't crash your car. If you're driving or if you're at your office on the podcast, don't bust out laughing. I don't want you to get fired. But let's just talk about this. Do you really want, at this moment, Georgie boy, George Santos, to have classified documents? Do you really want him to know or vote on the issues and things that are coming to the floor? Do you really want him to vote on these things? Seriously, now that's just one. We can go to Matt Gaetz. All right. Do we really want him? So, y'all, when we vote, it cannot be a popularity contest. It has to be who's best fit for the office, who knows law, legalese, who knows how this works. Let me go here. Do you want somebody sitting in those seats that don't even know if there's a Patty Murray who's the pro tem? Really? I mean, think about that. And everyone does not have that understanding or that passionate about it. But we should know how government works. So there should be a quiz, a test or something. And you have to pay. You can't come back and take it a second time. You can come back in 4 years. But come on. The House votes every 2 years. You're up for re-election every 2 years. The Senate is every 6. Y'all didn't even know that, did y'all? The Senate is every 6. Some of y'all didn't. Some of y'all did. That should be a test. There should be a test to say, how long can you hold office in the House? If somebody says 4 years, No, you're not ready because you should know it's only two. Y'all, these are the things we need to know. And we need to really stress that when we're looking for people. Back to town hall meetings. Go to town hall meetings and ask them, when's your term up? What's your background? Can we verify that? Can we vet you? And we can vet them and get this type of information. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. All right, so let a resolution. So resolution 5, a resolution notifying the House of Representatives that the election of the president pro tem. So they know. It's like, if y'all keep tripping with your speaker, this is the person next in line. Resolution 6, a resolution fixing the hour of daily meetings of the Senate. Resolution 8. So 7, there's not a 7, so 7 didn't pass, and I have no idea what number 7 is. Resolution 8, a resolution to make effective appointments of state legal counsel. Y'all, so even with that, they have to have legal counsel. Rhodesia, good morning. Legal counsel. Then resolution 9, a resolution to make effective appointment of deputy Senate legal counsel. So even with that, I'm just giving y'all this information. So they've been to work. What they did, what Chuck Schumer did, and Adrian said it, he was playing chess. He made sure at this meeting that things were so in order that they could carry the business of both the United States government and whatever job of the president of the United States. He set that up. This normally doesn't happen in this order. I went back and looked a couple years ago. This order wasn't set up. So this is what they do, and this is how it happens. So this is always great information to have. So with that, let me see what some of you are saying. You're like, no, y'all don't want those people leading you, not at all. Kim Evans said, I didn't know that. And it's okay. And again, that's what I'm here for. I want to share this information with you all. And y'all can see I'm hyped behind it. Jacqueline said they need to show they understand the nature of the position they're running for. I absolutely agree with you. It's beyond a title. It's beyond popularity. Y'all, there's a lot on the line over these next 2 years. And I still stand that we, the people, really have control. I really do. I really do. We just have to exercise it. We have to access it, and we have to be a part of it. So my inspirational message is let us pray. With everything that's going on, the inspirational message is let us pray. Let us pray. Let's just think about for a moment. Air travel, 10,000 flights delayed or canceled. We got to pray for government officials. We have government officials who have lied on their resume, who have lied to the American people, who have lied to people in their district. We have government officials who are attacking someone just because they did not like that their person was attacked, although it was founded upon that all those things happen. Let's pray for our government because there are classified documents. We don't know what they are. We don't know what they entail. We don't know if people have secrets. And I'm talking the former guy and the current guy. We have to really be mindful. So we have to pray. Let's also pray for us, the constituents, for us, the American people, for us, the voters, that we are taking our time, doing our due diligence, and hearing from people who can give us the information to let us know you may vote D, but they're not the best person. This person right here is not the best person. So maybe you need to look at the R or the I or the G, and the G is the Green Party. Then we have to pray for our public servants. Y'all, in Tennessee, 5 police officers have been fired and 3 have been suspended after sexual misconduct investigation. Yeah, 5 fired, 3 suspended after sexual misconduct investigation. And then again, California's rains, there's storms. Y'all, the Midwest, I live in Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be 60 degrees in January. That's not normal. That's not normal at all. That's not normal. So we need to pray. We need to pray for businesses. I cannot tell y'all how many businesses are closing. Just to name a few, Macy's is closing more stores. Bed Bath and Beyond is closing more stores. They believe they won't be around at the end of this year. Restaurants are closing stores. Hotels are shutting down. And I don't know if Hester's still in here or not, but y'all, that's a great investment. That's a great investment to pick that up and to run with it. Then we have car dealerships, like family owned car dealerships, they're closing. Daycare centers, although there are children needing places to go, daycare centers are closing because people just can't afford them. We have people who are still food insecure. Y'all, 13 million children. That number has not changed over the past 2 years. There's a problem there. Mike Nicholson says, I can tell you how many. Yes, Lord, keep us covered. Absolutely. So daycare centers. We also have hospitals. Do you know how many people are losing their jobs in the hospital setting? Y'all, we have hospitals who are closing. Okay. We have hospitals who are closing. We have the big strike of nurses in New York. Y'all, all of these things are happening. So this is a reason to pray. I'm reminded of Jeremiah 33:3. This says, call unto me and I will answer you and tell you great and mighty things you do not know. And today I'm asking us to call out to God, the author and the finisher of our faith. And again, I know we have people who tune in who are not followers of Jesus, and I get it. And y'all know I'll never waver from that. And thank you for respecting me in my space, and I respect you and your space. And some of them tuned off right around this time. Some of them stay on, and they tell me that they stay on because they get something from it. So y'all pray. Our weapon, the government is talking about weaponizing in this committee. Well, our weapon is prayer. Our weapon is prayer. And I'm reminded, and I'm going to say it right here on News in Motion. It is at the name of Jesus that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that he is Lord. All right, y'all, I want you to have an amazing weekend. Some of you were asking me about the Straight Fire merch. You were trying to get it yesterday. My apologies to all of you. Thank you, Isaiah, for putting that up. My apologies to all of you. Our web designer was in there cleaning up the website. It looks really good. She made some changes, turned some things around. So when she went in there, it shuts down the system, or it takes different pages off depending upon what page she's working on. So yeah, you can go to gaildudley.com/shop, I do believe. And you can get that. If you just go to gaildudley.com, just go there. The other thing, some of you are asking, if you want to do a placement of your business, if you want, whether it's a digital commercial that we play, you have to do it. We just plug it in. Or if you want just a graphic like this that just popped up, it's $50 per placement. Now, y'all, that's just this quarter. Eventually, that number is going to go up. Now, for those of you who have been asking about this, you design it. Now, if you want us to design it, it's going to cost you a little bit more money, but we can design it. But people are asking, what happens? Well, our videos stay up. Our videos are up from back in 2020. So anytime somebody's viewing a video, your content come up, they can have access to it. So you're getting free looped, after the placement, it stays on there. So that's what happens. So again, if you want us to do the graphic, we can do it. But it's going to be a different price for that. So how soon can you start turning those in? We're just waiting for you to say yes, for those of you who have been putting it out there. So y'all, that's all I have today. Hopefully this week's news and the teaching and the presentation that we have been sharing has blessed you and has helped you. We know the students yesterday had a great time at Formola and Tangi. So we're excited about what's happening. Tomorrow, tune in. Tune in tomorrow on the podcast, Politics and Prose. I think we have an image for that too. Thank you, Isaiah. And I need to put the new graphic up and take that coming January 2023 off. But tomorrow I am interviewing Deborah Johnson, and write from the heart. Her podcast was kick off on Monday, and I believe it's 5 p.m. So we'll get you all that information, but you want to tune into that podcast interview I had with her. Just go on to anywhere you listen to your podcast, download the podcast Politics and Prose. I think you have to put my name next to it as well, and just subscribe. And then tomorrow morning, it should hit about 7 a.m. That was an amazing interview. You think you heard Deborah Johnson on News in Motion. You have not heard of Deborah Johnson until you listen to this podcast interview. Her passion, her coaching, her writing is phenomenal. So tune in to hear that tomorrow. Again, it drops at 7 a.m. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on Monday, God willing. Until then, y'all stay well. And remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.
In motion.